Yo, how's it going everybody? Ray here, and today I present to you a topic that I wanted to cover for a long time, even though I've sort of ignored it, sort of dodged it. I was kind of, I don't know, on the fence about it, but we are going to talk about trading, because I feel like trading is a really big part of the TF2 community, and in fact it has been a big part of my experience with TF2 for a long time. I'm pretty much just gonna cover my thoughts on the trading community so far, what I've sort of done with trading, and pretty much the reason why I don't trade anymore. Just gonna be watching some gameplay in the background. It's mostly gonna be Soldier, because I noticed that I barely uploaded any Soldier gameplay. Before I get into it, and there's a couple of stories I'll be sharing today, which I do hope you enjoy, I would like to mention that I did change my graphics settings. I record on a laptop, even though I have a different PC for streaming, except once again, I can't always use that to record, so I find that using my laptop is just more convenient. The changes I've made pretty much include changing some facial features from my config, which is the Command-Glia FPS config, and I've also used, like right now I'm using DX98, before I used to use DX81, so if that really matters to you, I just kind of want some feedback on how the gameplay looks, because again, it is a little bit different with ragdolls disabled and such, but you still get like explosions, so it's probably pretty cool. If you're into that sort of stuff, it's out there. Now, I was pretty lucky sort of getting into the trading scene, because I got my first unusual, believe it or not, it was through a raffle, and that raffle was, and like I entered that raffle, it was on TF2 Raffle House, and if you're familiar with the website, I remember, I might put a screenshot on right now if I do find that raffle. I might not, so don't expect it, but I will tell you right now, from what I remember, there were like 2,500 entries. The winning chance was 0.08%, yes, that's right, and that's how I got my first unusual. This was like 3 years back, but that's how I got it. It was an unusual orbiting planets westernware, which like right now I don't even know, it's probably like 11 keys, but that really enabled me to get into the whole trading scene. And I remember that back then keys were, I mean not keys, but the Bills hat was worth I think 9 keys probably, or like a Team Spirit Bills hat, so I remember I sold that, and that's like how I got my first unusual, which was a steaming Panama. So that one I paid for, that one I legitimately got as my first unusual, but the western wear, here's kind of where the first story comes in. I'm going to try and include everything I can in this video. It's going to be a lot of info, but I just don't want to split it into multiple videos and many stories and stuff. But if you want me to get more into detail in another video, feel free to like mention it so that I know. Anyway, talking about the story, that unusual western wear that I got, quite put simply, was like straight up scammed from me. I remember I was on this one server once, and there was this completely random dude. I don't even know much of the details, and the story will be pretty concise. Once again, if you want me to tell more, leave it in the comments below, but if it's interesting to you. Anyway, so this guy pretty much tells me, hey, do you want to make some profit and stuff? So the main premise of the story was that we would get together, not get together, but I would have to basically trade him the unusual, and I was really dumb back then, so don't judge me. I traded him a lot of my other stuff, like it was pretty bad. I traded him most of my hats, and at which point, and this was for free, I'll tell you why in a second, I traded him most of my hats just because I trusted him. He told me, if you guys are familiar with TF2 Warehouse, it's really popular now. What you basically do is you sell different items, you get points and those, or credits rather, and with those credits you can buy other hats. So what I did is I sold him my items, and he said that he'd sell some of his as well, and we'd combine it, and he'd buy some stuff off the warehouse for me. I'm not really sure what he did or what he bought, but I think in the end I ended up gaining obviously nothing because it was a scam. But this guy, the way this guy did it, was really fucking elaborate. Like, excuse the language, but it was really elaborate. Like, he kept putting, he didn't delete me, he didn't remove me or anything, he was there. I was completely oblivious to the fact that he was like selling stuff. I think his inventory might have even been put on private at that time. So I had no idea what's going on. I had no idea what was going on. Again, the main idea was that we were supposed to like profit from this somehow, and stupidly I gave away my unusual. I did not know. I wanted to profit. I guess I was young, but it was 3 years back, so I mean you can't really judge so much. it was dumb. And as time went by, he sort of said, well, you know, I'll give you your stuff. He was either making up some bullshit about how the time was taking too long, like with the bots and stuff on TF2 warehouse, so that's why he couldn't get me the stuff he wanted, or I wanted rather. We sort of agreed on what items I would pick out of that list or whatever, and he would tell me, oh, we're at like I don't know, 100,000 credits, whatever. So long story short, this guy pretty much got most of my stuff, and it was, I don't really remember much of the details anymore, but this was the main premise, that we'd profit from TF2 warehouse. For some reason I agreed. There isn't really much context because it was just me being dumb. And you know, after that event I got really pissed off. I traded my way up to a Bills hat somehow. I traded really quickly. I started like profiting a lot around 2012 or 2013, around then. I started really getting into trading after this whole hiatus happened, and I wanted to profit. I wanted to make everything back, so I did, and eventually led to the Steam in Panama. And that was pretty cool. That was like my first real unusual, and from then I won't get into like a whole lot of convoluted lists, but I did own a couple of really nice unusuals. Maybe I'll just show some screenshots from my TF2 Outpost and you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. At some point I had a burning, actually, well, I think one of my rarest unusuals that I ever had, and this was a couple months back, was a Scorching Flames fruit shoot, which that was like really damn cool. And I also had an unusual fruit shoot collection. I had like 5 unusual fruit shoots, and right now I only have my smoking one, which, yeah, I mean, Star has a smoking one, whatever. I was like a big fanboy at the time, so of course I kept that. I still do, I still have it. And yeah, I traded my way up. At some point I sort of just realized, hey man, like, I'm just gonna get what I want. What happened that really made me quit trading, and then again I got back into it, but I quit it, like now I'm not trading anymore at all, was a second scam, but this scam was devastating. So what happened, I'll just quickly say it because I'm already at like 7 minutes, and this is probably going to be too long, and I might make a part 2 to this, talking more about it. But my experiences with trading, so what happened was that in September of last year, I came to India, and a lot of people know this. They know I live in India currently. I'm moving back to Canada in the summer, and what happened was I moved here, and when I moved here, I think the reason why I made this really pretty dumb mistake was that I was sort of kind of depressed. It's a bit of an exaggeration to say I was depressed at the time, but I wasn't really happy with my situation. I moved here, it was September, school was starting, and I was trading. So what ended up happening was that I get added from a private profile, which is pretty much already a red flag. You guys should always watch out for those people. I get added from a private profile, and he tells me, so this was sort of smart, and this was before a lot of the different types of scams were happening, but this was one of the main ones. Basically, the guy pretended to be a source rep mod or source rep admin. And he impersonated an admin. He told me, you know, he gave me, so what he did was he pretended that he was a middleman, I believe, for a trade, and he's like, here's the admin, or no, sorry, the guy that added me the guy that added me said, here's this guy, add this guy, he's gonna be the middleman for a trade. And again, it's a red flag. I mean, why would you want a middleman for a straight up trade? I don't remember a lot of the details, so I know this story might sound very fragmented, but basically I got hooked, not hooked, but I got scammed by someone pretending to be a Steam rep middleman. They linked me the profile of the real guy. I didn't check the profile again of the guy that was scamming me, so it's really dumb. It's because I didn't check his profile that I got scammed. I mean, you know, obviously. But this scam was devastating. All you really need to know was that I got scammed for an Australian scattergun, a green energy fruit shoot, and I think the third item was like a Stormy Storm Brigade helm for the pyro. Really damn devastating. And I pretty much, like, I got really depressed after that. they were the majority of my thing. I think I had one more unusual that I didn't end up trading. It was really dumb, guys. I was really dumb. I know you'll judge me, but it happens to the best of us. I remember it now. At that time, the value of that scam was 1,000 ref, which is a crazy amount. I mean, now, I don't know, currency change, I don't know so much about it anymore. This happened in September of 2014, and it was a really devastating scam. And after that, I got pretty much really pissed once again. I started trading so much, a crazy amount, and I made it all back. Once again, in like 3 months, I made it all back, and even more. I profited a crazy amount. It was really dumb. This was kind of my trading experience. I'll just leave you guys with one more story. Or actually, I'm out of time. This is a really long video, but if you want, and if you stayed until the end of this whole ramble about trading and stuff, and I know this might seem like a cheap video, but I hope you enjoyed the gameplay anyway. Next video, I'll probably be making talk about how I got permabanned from TF2 Outpost, and if you want that video to happen, please let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you next time. Peace.
The lack of variety that's in our society, anxiety got them fucking go denying me. I'm trying anything that's unheard of, and it's crazy cause once you speak a word of something that they really not used to, they wanna castrate you, shoot you, and you know they say that life a bitch, and she not just gonna fuck you, she a mastermind, and she specializes in Kama Sutra. Yeah, but that's just how life is. It's not if they gon' stab you.